An alternate lunar landing, the geopolitics of a world where the USA didn't land on the moon first. The space race. In our timeline, the space race was a poignant manifestation of the Cold War, culminating in an American victory with Neil Armstrong's iconic "One small step for man, one giant leap for mankind" in 1969. But what if history had taken a different turn? Let's imagine that the Soviet Union, building on the momentum of their early successes such as launching the first satellite, Sputnik, and putting the first man, Yuri Gagarin, in space, had continued their streak and succeeded in placing a man on the moon first in the late 1960s. This triumph would have not only solidified the Soviet Union's dominance in the realm of space exploration, but also significantly boosted the prestige and influence of the entire communist bloc during the height of the Cold War. The USSR's moon landing would have been a potent symbol of the supposed superiority of the Soviet system and its technological prowess, creating ripples of change throughout the world. The geopolitical shift. The geopolitical landscape of this alternate world would have shifted substantially following a Soviet lunar landing. The USSR's global influence would have burgeoned, allowing it to exert even more pressure on non-aligned nations during the Cold War. The demonstration of Soviet capability and the allure of its triumphant ideology could have led to a few more countries adopting socialist regimes, especially in regions of Africa, Asia, and Latin America, leading to a significant shift in the global balance of power. China, despite its ideological differences and occasional clashes with the USSR, would find common ground in the shared victory of communism. This could have led to a stronger Sino-Soviet alliance, perhaps even resulting in a formal military and strategic pact. This would significantly alter the geopolitics of Asia, making the combined might of China and the USSR a formidable bloc against Western influence. In response to this, Western alliances would be compelled to tighten their bonds. NATO might have broadened its scope and increased its military readiness. The European nations, particularly those in close proximity to the USSR, would feel the heat of the growing Soviet influence. In a bid to demonstrate their technological competence, they might have invested more heavily in their own space programs, leading to a faster and more significant formation and expansion of the European Space Agency. The American response. In the USA, the Soviet lunar landing would likely have been viewed as a national humiliation and a challenge that demanded a fitting response. The American space program, driven by the urgency to reclaim its position, might have shifted its focus towards even more ambitious goals. Perhaps, instead of aiming for the moon, NASA might have set its sights on establishing a permanent space station earlier than in our timeline, or even a manned mission to Mars. This alternate space race could have prompted the government to invest heavily in technology and education, recognizing that future conflicts would likely be fought as much with technology and ideas as with traditional weaponry. This could have resulted in a faster pace of technological innovation, with breakthroughs in computing, robotics, and artificial intelligence coming earlier and more rapidly. Silicon Valley might have risen to prominence even sooner, leading to a different trajectory for the tech industry. The global impact. The global impact of a Soviet lunar landing would not be limited to the immediate power blocks of the Cold War. The USSR's enhanced prestige might have prolonged the life of the Soviet Union itself, delaying its eventual collapse. With a more powerful USSR and a strengthened Sino-Soviet alliance, the world might have seen a more balanced bipolar global order. This change could lead to different outcomes in various Cold War flashpoints. For example, the Vietnam War might have ended differently, with the USSR and China providing even more support to North Vietnam. The Soviet invasion of Afghanistan might have been more successful, altering the geopolitical landscape of the Middle East and Central Asia. The Middle East, as a key region in Cold War geopolitics, might also have seen a significant shift in alliances. Countries like Iran and Egypt, traditionally non-aligned but leaning towards the West, might have been more inclined to align with the USSR, leading to a very different regional dynamic. A multipolar world. Fast forward to the present day, and we might find a world that is more multipolar. The USA, USSR, and China could all be major players in a more balanced global order. The European Union, having developed its own advanced space program, might also be a more influential actor on the world stage. Space exploration could be more advanced in this alternate world. The competition to outdo the other nations might have resulted in permanent bases on the Moon, and perhaps even manned missions to Mars, having already occurred. Space might have been commercialized earlier, leading to a burgeoning space industry involving private corporations from all over the world. The world could be more technologically advanced due to the intense focus on science and technology during the prolonged space race. Innovations in fields like artificial intelligence, cybernetics, renewable energy, and biotechnology could have been spurred on by the perceived need to stay ahead in the global competition. Moreover, the environmental movement might have gained momentum earlier. Seeing the Earth from the Moon, captured in the iconic Earthrise photo, had a profound impact on our perception of our planet's fragility. If this moment had come earlier and from a Soviet perspective, we might have seen a stronger push for environmental reforms and sustainable practices from within the communist bloc. Global culture and society. Culturally, the world might have been shaped differently as well. The moon landing was not just a technological feat, but a cultural moment that inspired millions around the world. If this moment had been claimed by the Soviets, we might have seen a greater influence of Soviet and communist culture in global media, arts, and literature. Socially, the education systems around the world might have placed a greater emphasis on science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, STEM fields, leading to a more technologically literate population. More importantly, the symbolism of a common human achievement, albeit under the banner of the USSR, might have fostered a stronger sense of global unity, possibly leading to more international cooperation in solving global issues, from climate change to disease control. The potential challenges. However, this alternate timeline could also have its share of challenges. A more powerful USSR might have been more assertive, potentially leading to more conflicts and proxy wars. The Sino-Soviet alliance could have been a threat to global stability, especially if it led to an arms race involving nuclear weapons. Technological advancements, while generally beneficial, could also have brought about new problems. Issues of privacy, data security, and ethical considerations around AI and biotechnology might have become prominent much earlier. Similarly, the commercialization of space might have led to debates about the exploitation of extraterrestrial resources, leading to a new frontier for geopolitical competition. In conclusion, if the USA wasn't the first country to land on the moon, the geopolitical landscape would have been significantly different. The Soviet Union and its allies would have had more influence, and a more multipolar world order might have emerged. The technological and cultural impacts would have been profound, reshaping the course of history in unexpected ways. However, this alternate timeline would also have its own unique challenges, reminding us that every historical event is a complex interplay of countless factors and consequences.